I don't get on here very often and talk about myself really, but in light of the LGBTQ community facing the very real possibility of losing their right to healthcare and gender affirming care, I would like to provide a little bit of perspective to the people who are so disturbed by gender affirming care. So I am a biologically born female, and around the age of 8, I began going through something called precocious puberty. This happens to a percentage of children where they begin going into puberty at an earlier age than normal. It particularly occurs in Hispanic, Native American, and Black children. And in precocious puberty, in at least girls, you may start your period really early. You may begin to develop in your chest and other areas before your peers. And this can be really difficult. And for me, it was really difficult. And as an 8-year-old little girl in the early 2000s, my doctor prescribed me, wait for it, hormone blockers, which is the standard treatment for precocious puberty. My doctor had me do puberty blockers for I think about 1.5 years until I caught up with the rest of my peers and I was allowed to develop normally, and I never had an issue with my reproductive system. I never had any kind of horrifying thing happen to any of my parts. I never had any issues. I have 2 beautiful baby boys, and I had 2 very normal, very healthy pregnancies. And to the people who just cannot understand that trans children exist and trans people exist, also need to realize that children who are not trans have been receiving puberty blockers for decades without any issues. It's a genetic thing. It runs in families. There's nothing wrong with your body if you have precocious puberty, and there's nothing wrong if you don't receive hormone blockers if you have precocious puberty. But there are a lot of reasons that doctors will prescribe puberty blockers to children who are getting their menstrual cycles at 7 or 8. So yeah, I just wanted to, provide that perspective. And obviously everyone should recognize the need for trans children to have access to whatever healthcare that their doctor finds best for them, as well as their parents. It shouldn't have anything to do with the government. Just feel like this has been a subject that has been so politicized and put in a box, and it's so completely unnecessary. Everyone deserves equal access to healthcare. End of story.